Boom, 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 boom. Hey, what's up, everyone? We're live. This is how are you? How is everyone doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Oh, we got Fred. Fred makes it the last second.
He's
What's
in.
up,
He's
Fred?
in.
Sliding in.
We got we
Like Chris Collinsworth. Slide.
we got a great thing. We got a great show for you. We got two guests and some of our regulars. A little shuffle. Just some life stuff came up, so we got that, but that's okay because we got a great show for you. This is one of the top. We got Casey Ryan Plott, who's used never after 61 episodes is now going to join us on the 62nd. But before we do all that, we're going to start off with the theme song. I'm going to let Fred take the first one, and then Casey, you can take the second one. Take it away, Fred.
Here's the story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. All of them have jobs and friends. Well, not really. Just between you and me.
That was awesome. Casey.
They made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff, Ron, Sal, and Bob, and there's Howard. They call it crossing streams.
Sal, do the honors.
And then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laughing, shout, and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform. But man, we crossed the streams.
Everyone, we cross the streams.
Cross the streams.
We cross the
Cross the
streams.
streams.
That's the way we do it. Yeah, we cross the streams.
Very well done. Very well done.
That was well done. Oh, Jerry, we got Jerry in the house.
Jerry.
And we got Lee.
What's up, Jerry? What's up, Lee?
So much fun.
I got something going on here. Hold on. What is it? What is it? There it is.
Okay, we had a little feedback, but that's all right. We got a great show. We got two guests. And
Top notch guest.
top-notch
There we
guests.
go.
Top
So
notch.
I'm gonna introduce Casey Ryan Plott. You may know Casey Ryan Plott has had a running theme for almost our entire series. I think from the very, very, very beginning, convincing Casey Ryan Plott to watch one of the shows that we discussed has always been something that we strive for. This is Casey's very first actual appearance on the show. So we couldn't be more excited to have him
Super stoked.
on
super
camera.
stoked.
Casey, tell us all about your awesome podcasts and all the stuff you do.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Yeah, I part of one half of the scenesnobs.com. That's where you can find us. The Scene Snobs, we're a podcast that basically enjoy the absurdity and try to just get really deep in the answers of like what it would be like to live in the Marvel universe just as a realtor. So important questions, answering the things people want to know. We do movie reviews. We've got a huge channel on our YouTube channel, so definitely worth a look.
Nice.
All right, Jerry wants a CRP in the hizzle.
Yeah, buddy. I made
And
the screen,
of course, I don't know how many times he's been here because I didn't count, but enough that his slide has the old logo on it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Fred Carroll. Fred, welcome back to the show.
What's up? I love seeing you guys. Like, I love Sal. Oh, I love Sal. Such a sexy man.
Tell us about your new podcast. Tell us about your new awesome podcast.
So I have a new show called Apostrophes, the writer series with me, Double D. People call me Double D because if you look at my name, you could see it's spelt with two D's.
Nice.
And this is a writing series for beginners, intermediates, professionals. It's just writing advice, and it's more based off of my mistakes I have made in my writing career, and I try to feed them down to others. They don't have to take my, of course, examples, and I just run with it, and I do a lot of interviews. So it's doing well so far. It's a slow roll. Everything in this podcasting world is a slow roll, but I'm hanging in there, and we're doing well.
Well, that is good. And I love your new format. I'm excited for you because I know it's something that you're very passionate about. And then, so just for everybody who is at home, Jerry, I want to put up the rules for the drinking game. the official drinking game of Crossing the Streams. If someone on the show drinks, you can drink. That's usually Bob or Sal. If we have any technical issues, which we already had one with Fred's reverb, that's you could drink. If one of you guys is brought on, if one of your comments is on stage, drink. If we have to mention what platform, if we have to be asked what platform a show is on, drink. And if we can't remember an actor's name or perhaps even say his name, the name wrong, drink. So enjoy the show
And drink.
and drink. And then anyone watching who happens to be in Michigan, I would love for you to vote for my podcast, Live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show. I'm up for Our
Good
Detroit's best podcast. So you can go to ourdetroit.com and there's a link right there. You don't have to type down that whole thing.
Jeff, I don't think you have to be from Detroit, be from Michigan. I voted.
You have to put a city in for Detroit. So if you put Philadelphia, I think.
I don't know.
Hey, just have to
Uh,
lie. Be comfortable lying.
I'm not saying that you should on this live broadcast. You should just put a city from Michigan.
Recount. We need a recount on
I
this.
know, right?
Yeah,
right.
Another Michigan recount.
Nobody believes elections these days, so let's not. do that. So we got a good show. We got last week's show. Just so everyone knows, on YouTube we have now. This is episode 62, so we have 61 hours of shows. Last week's was a killer show. I Am Mother, the story of late night with the movie Late Shift, because they cover the same topic. Somebody Somewhere and Criminal Minds. So a great episode there. And then this week we got a great one. One of these we're not going to cover because that's the wrong one. Where is it? This is great. I can't find my.
Drink.
Live
Drink.
television.
Drink.
Yeah.
We're having technical difficulty. Maybe
Drink.
drink. Everyone.
Everybody drink.
All right, here we go.
Live stream.
Boom.
yard.
All right, so here we go. We got episode 62. This episode, we're going to talk about The Good Place, The Tinder Swindler, Murderville, Long Shot, and we'll get it. Annihilate. I can't even pronounce it.
Annihilation.
Annihilation. We'll get that
Drink.
next week. So
we're
when
getting
Bob's
drunk
back,
tonight.
Bob had to
We're
take
getting
off
drunk
real
tonight.
quick, and Howard had to take off life calls. But we got a solid show here. So here's the thing. I just maybe real quick want to talk about look, Mick Manhattan shows up when Casey Ryan.
Hey, what's
Plott's
going
here.
on, Nick?
Hey,
Thanks,
buddy.
Mick. Thanks, Jason, for showing up.
What's
That's
up,
why
Jason?
Yeah. You guys have to drink if you haven't drank yet. Okay. So that I got to admit, I was not into Doctor Strange. I've not been into Doctor Strange. And I was like, ugh, more Doctor Strange. He's in every movie. I mean, Cumberbatch is a great actor. That's not what I mean. It's just, this is who we're putting the whole, he's not Tony Stark to me. He's not Robert Downey Jr. But holy shit. If a trailer were to ever change a person's mind, that Doctor Strange 2 trailer, holy crap. Wow. Did that changed my mind 1,000%. I love how everyone's now in the scene snobs, you guys. Sorry, Casey, but you guys are just as guilty of this. But like where you like, hey, this is everything that's gonna happen. And then when the movie comes out, you're like, don't tell me if it happened. Don't ruin it for me. Just because I spent 8 months ruining the movie for you and building up every perception.
Just
can never be
removing
met.
removing doubts. That's all it is. We're just removing doubts on certain areas leading up to the
Everyone does that.
eventual.
I'm just
screening.
kidding. But it's just funny, like everyone's like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are being in the movie, and then the movie comes out, nobody say anything. Like you ruined it. Not you guys, but like I'm just teasing you because Mick's listening too. But I love that. If I will freak out if Tom Cruise is in it. That would be the best if he was
I'm
superior
hoping he is.
Iron Man.
Jeff, do you know, are there any spoiler podcasts? Like that's the whole theme of the podcast is to spoil a movie.
Well, you can only literally spoil it, I think, after the fact, right? So I think that would just be like, hey, we're assholes podcast.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
We're just
I'm
gonna
saying
tell
I'm
you
right
the day
here.
after.
No, you don't.
I'm right here.
Oh,
Hey, it's
Look,
Jennifer. Hi,
my
Jennifer.
old
Oh, we are
co-host.
all wearing hats. We are.
Jen.
Isn't she beautiful? Isn't she a beauty?
She is beautiful. So, all right. So, and then I'll tell you that the Jurassic Dominion thing looks amazing,
Mhm.
but I'm still annoyed at the premise that makes this movie possible. The end of the last movie was so ridiculous. Like,
What, the unleashing of all the
yeah.
dinosaurs?
Oh, we can't kill these dinosaurs that we built in a lab, and that if we release into the wild would destroy the whole entire human ecosystem because man is not meant to live with creatures that were annihilated years ago,
Right.
and we can't live in this. No, we can't kill them. It's murder. You know what I mean? Like, oh, sorry, you're half dinosaur, half kid, sir. But like,
Meanwhile,
like,
the ASPCA is just crushing dogs and kittens and everything.
yeah. Well,
So,
it's just it's like, but it just was, it's like, it'd be like, we can't kill these crocodiles. We have to unleash them into the pool where all the kids swim. I mean, like it's like it's just stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, so now dinosaurs took over the earth. It's worth it just to get Jeff Goldblum to give the same speech again that he's given in every movie.
I
But,
really hope he does. It's all I'm paying money for.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's the only thing. The movie looks great, but I don't like the way I hated the last movie in the sense that how it set it up. I liked the first one in the reboot series, but that was about it.
Yeah, when you
Anyway.
get the T-Rex defending the human, it was awesome.
Yeah, there was good parts to it. It's like I think the problem was it the last movie. I think it was the last movie where the murders of the people they killed. They didn't justify them being like the assistant that just was so brutally murdered.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
she didn't deserve that. There was no joy in watching that. You know what I mean? It was almost like it was painful. Anyway, do you guys have any opinions on these things?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it.
No, I don't watch movies anymore. I gave up on movies. I just watch. I watch Casey. I watch Mick, and then I just don't watch the movie.
Yeah, I mean, you get enough of the story.
Yeah,
we
that's
pretty
all.
much get the highlights for you.
All right. Well, let's jump into it. Let's talk about some shows. Let's kick off. Oh wait.
Long shot. Let's do long drink.
Wait, that's the wrong one. I'm like a mess today. It sounds like the long shot. I'm like that one, and then I purposely actually found the right one, and then still just clicked on the wrong one. So this is the long shot.
What was that other one? Is that other one a baseball movie too?
No, this one is about Charlize Theron falling in love with Seth Rogen. That is not the long shot we're talking about.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Long Shot, which is about tragedy in LA. Take
Tragedy.
it away, Sal.
Tragedy. Well, I wanted to do something this week for baseball because pitchers and catchers were supposed to report today, but they're breaking my heart. I think they're about to start a baseball strike or something, but they didn't report. So no baseball yet. But so this has a little bit of everything in it. It has a little bit of baseball. It's got murder mystery. It's got love. But basically it is it's a very short watch, by the way. I didn't have a lot of time this week to watch, Jeff and Ron and some of these other guys will watch like 17 episodes of something before our next show. I don't know how these guys do it, but this is a 40-minute documentary movie, and it's about a guy named Juan Catalan. I hope I'm saying his name right. And he was arrested for a murder that he did not commit. And back in, I think it was 2015, he's basically stepping out of his house, and just basically like a SWAT team of officers and everybody just surround this guy, get him on the ground and arrest him, which, I mean, that should scare the hell out of anybody, right? So he has no idea what he's getting arrested for, but there was a murder in his neighborhood or around his neighborhood in LA of a 16-year-old girl. When they did a sketch composite, he looked exactly like this guy, but it could have been anybody. I mean, he's a Latino guy, and he had like short hair and a mustache and a goatee. And it's like, that could be millions of guys, right? Thousands of guys in LA. But apparently they thought he was the one. They arrested him. He comes from a low-income neighborhood. He has a girlfriend. He has I believe, a 6 or 7-year-old daughter. And this guy's getting wrongly accused. I mean, he's just not the killer. But again, doesn't really have any money. his girlfriend, and all this is footage of documentary of them speaking and stuff. So it's pretty cool. There's no actors. And the girlfriend's talking, and she's like, we just didn't even know what to do. So we remember seeing a commercial of a lawyer. Isn't that funny? Like it'd be like seeing a Bernstein commercial around here, Jeff, or something. And they even show the guy's commercial, right? It's just a cheesy lawyer commercial, whatever. A good lawyer, but you know, they always have these cheesy commercials to kind of lure you in. And they just remember this guy on his commercial, so they called him up, and he's like, I'll definitely represent you guys. So he starts out by basically saying, okay, where were you that night? Right? That's one of the first things he says is, you know, he's in jail. He's trying to think back of where he was, and he goes, wait a minute, that was the night I went to the Dodger game. So the night of the murder, he goes to the Dodger game. He was not supposed to go to that game. His girlfriend had 4 tickets. He wasn't going to go. At the last second, he decides to go because they had an extra 2 tickets. So he took his daughter. So now he's got an alibi. But now there was 56,000 people at this game. They literally got the Los Angeles Dodgers general manager involved. And he says, look, you guys can come in here, comb all the video. And they did that. Just hours and hours of videos, just trying to see where he was. They knew where he was sitting. And they just couldn't find anything. They found one, but when they zoomed it in, it just wasn't clear enough to say that it was definitely him. So here they are. They're out of luck again. And he's in jail, and he's just, you know, freaking out, right? All of a sudden, the general manager of the Dodgers, or the guy that is in this, that was running the stadium, he says, you know what? HBO was in here, I believe, right around that time, filming an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David and Bob Einstein. We talked about him, right? And I think it was on that day. So they did some research, and lo and behold, that was the day they decided to film it, like during a game. Just take one section, get some camera guys in there, and do the scene. So they didn't have to get actors and all that kind of stuff, right? The episode was the one where Larry David is on the expressway and he picks up a hooker in the carpool lane. I don't know. It's like season 7, episode 3 or something like that. Anyway, so and then he takes her to a Dodger game. That's the scene in the series. So they do the scene, and the girl, I forgot the name of the actress that's in it. Very funny. So they show footage of them, you know, doing this scene in the section where this guy Juan was actually sitting. Can you believe it? It's just, again, long shot, right? So they're going through footage of that. And I swear to God, you guys, if you guys watch this, I literally almost I got goosebumps on the scene, because they show there's just minutes of them trying to find this footage of this guy in the stands. And finally, there it is. Larry David is walking up the aisle. They just finished doing the scene. He raises his hand. Everybody in that little section kind of cheered for him. And lo and behold, here comes Juan and his daughter down the aisle in front of Larry David, clear as day. It's him. Man, it was awesome. I swear to God, I almost cried just right there in that little scene when they showed that. It was so cool, especially holding his daughter's hand and stuff. And so they got the footage. Well, and they always have the district attorney in this as well. And they're like, well, the crime was committed at 10:15. That footage of Juan was at 9:15. He could have definitely left the stadium and committed the murder, right? So he's, the strike 3, right? But then they not to bore you guys with the whole thing. I'm probably doing what you guys said not to do. I'm telling the whole thing. But they found that he made a cell phone call to either his mother or his girlfriend from the stadium in the parking lot at like 10:19, and that basically, in a nutshell, saved his ass. But obviously the footage of the Dodgers game really, really saved him, because they said if he never goes to that game, they probably never ever find out that he wasn't the killer. And he talks about it, how some of these guys get exonerated after 30 years in jail and stuff like that. So, I've kind of told you the whole thing, but again, it's a 40-minute watch. I think you'll really enjoy it. And it's an amazing, amazing story, man. I really liked it.
Yeah, that's amazing that it came down to something so random like that.
It's crazy, isn't it? And
It was well done. They filmed it very well. It is a quick watch.
yeah,
and good. It's good. It is a little tearjerker, and it gives you a good feeling for a change at the
I
end.
know. And what platform is that on?
that was on Netflix.
It was Netflix. I don't know if it still is, but I'm unsure. I watched it I guess it came out a few years ago.
Yeah, it's 2017. It popped up and something for me to watch. So yeah, I really, like I said, it's an easy watch. I really enjoyed it. Just amazing how, they said that at the end, like everything that happened to him, there was so many things. Like he wasn't going to go to the game, and then he went to the game, and then he wasn't going to sit in those seats, and they were going to stand, and they ended up going to the seats. And then Larry David was going to film that scene and another game and another time, and he picked that game and he picked that section. Just crazy, man.
I just can't believe you have Jewish lawyers in Michigan. I've never heard of such a thing.
How many tomato sauce jars, Sal?
I'm gonna give that 5 tomato sauce stars, man.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah, well, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Big
That's
one.
a lot.
Juan, if you're listening, congratulations, man. Glad you didn't have to do time. You didn't commit the murder.
More time, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of time, let's talk about The Good Place.
What the fork?
What the fork? All right. Fred Carroll is going to take us through The Good Place.
I am a fan of The Good Place. It is one of those shows that I put on to go to sleep to. Not that it puts me to sleep, but it's just that show that I'm okay missing. I've watched it so many times now from beginning to end that if I fall asleep and miss 3 episodes and start on that 4th one, I'm fine with it. So to me, any show that can smartly argue religious beliefs with a comedic view, that's gold to me. As you know, I'm a lifelong atheist, but I love religion. I still love the theories of religion and the banter back and forth. And this show is perfect for that. It's created by the amazing Connecticut-born Mike Schur, who, if you don't know who Mike Schur is, he's probably better known as Mose. He played Mose in The Office. Okay. But he also is known, for an unknown show called The Office. He went on to create other failed shows such as Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And this is all after a failed stint at a community college named Harvard University. This guy had
garbage.
This guy had no chance. There was no chance. And he wasn't going to go far. But of course, marrying the daughter of the great Regis Philbin would open up his path success. You got a Regis for me there? Can I get a Regis? Give me a Regis.
Looking for Kathy Lee.
There.
Oh no!
Okay.
Did you see Notre Dame?
That's right. That's what I wanted. The Casey Plott input. That's what I wanted. But this guy, Mike Schur, is a genius. I don't know how familiar you guys are with him and his writing styles and stuff. He's just absolutely gold. Everything he does now is gold. And he's still very young. And I don't know where he's going to go from here. But The Good Place, it's a fast 4 seasons. And what I mean by that is, for some reason, they don't feel like they're, I guess because they are those 22-minute, because it was made for television. So when you watch it on Netflix, which it is on, they really go by fast, those 22 minutes. And before you know it, you're 4 episodes in, and in like an hour, it feels like, even though that math doesn't add up to 22 minutes. That's my math, not your math. And it definitely has. The one thing I like about the show is they knew it was going to be 4 seasons when they started it. It wasn't going to a 5th season, so he had a clear path to the end. And has anybody here seen it? Has anybody seen it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the whole show.
Yeah. And did you enjoy it the same? I mean, from beginning to end, or did you have a weak part? Because I had some weak parts, but nothing major.
It was funny. Like I remember watching, I think I missed some of the beginning when I first came on. And so I started watching it and I'm like, eh. And then somebody convinced me to try again. And so I tried it again. The first season of The Good Place is possibly one of the best first seasons of any show ever. And I think it ends on such a great twist that it's, it's one of those things where you feel bad if someone watches The Sixth Sense and
Yeah,
knows
you gotta tell 'em.
Bruce Willis is dead. I think that's safe now. I know the Scene Snobs reported that like 3 years ago.
Yeah, we definitely covered it.
Yeah. But I didn't think season 2 and 3 were as strong, but 4, I think it started to get its footing, and I thought it ended as solid as any show can end. I thought the last show in particular was great. However, along the way, the person, is it Darcy Caden?
Yeah.
Darcy Caden is Janet, brilliant. Ted Danson, amazing.
He's an alien. Ted
Manny,
Danson's an alien.
Mark Evan Jackson. I mean, the cat, Kristen Bell, Jamil Jamal.
Wow, it's great.
Manny Jacinto, who I think did really good for himself by being in what was it, The Nine People? What was that show recently on Hulu? The Nine Perfect Strangers or something, where he played a different character.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he played that dumb character so good. It was nice to see that.
It was amazing. I loved
him.
That Jacksonville, Florida character.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. But
I do think the show, like you said, you could miss a few in the first season and stick with it. But if you miss in season 2 and 3, because obviously the good place becomes the bad place, the good place. You could get confused very easily if you don't know these characters well enough, who you're dealing with, because of their alter egos that they're playing at the same time. Because Ted Danson's playing good guy, he's playing bad guy.
Right. And Jason Mantzoukas is great. And I don't know, William Jackson Harper's Chidi was amazing. Yeah. And Maya Rudolph was so funny because not only about religion, but it also so cleverly poked fun at the stupid things we do via the Ted Danson character. Just like him discovering podcasts and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just the way he would do it. You're like, oh, we are idiots, aren't we? We're just idiots, human beings.
I do like in the beginning when it doesn't give anything, when she asks if anybody's ever been right about the good place.
Right.
And he says, there's one guy, and he points to him on the wall and says he was tripping on mushrooms in Denver, Colorado. And his friend turned to him and said, what happens when we die? And he goes, gosh darn it, he was 98% correct. And we kind of worship him around here.
Right.
And they did a great job really bringing philosophy around. They explained philosophy. They taught you philosophy in the first season, kind of the 101 version. So that was a pretty impressive feat.
Yeah, a lot of undertones, and they brought a lot of different religious views into it.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them, all 99 of them, all the way in. Actually, I don't know if they did, because I don't remember Judaism coming into the play in The Good Place. Did it?
Oh, Jeff? I'm pretty sure there was a portion of everything. They touched every single.
I don't recall.
I don't remember.
I don't recall it playing a major role or anything, but if they might have touched on it. Now I'm going to have to watch it, but luckily you could watch it in about 2 days. You could watch it in 2 days and be done.
Kristen Bell is great in it as well. Yeah. So I definitely, so you recommend it.
Well, I recommend it. Yeah. It's so smartly written. It's such a smartly written show. And I love smart written comedy, especially in the comedy, because it's not stupid comedy anymore. It's ridiculous. It goes over the edge and it's ridiculous what they do but because you're tied into the story of it being the afterlife, you accept the idiocracy of it,
Sure. Sure. They got a little leeway.
Yeah. You got a little thing to play with there. So, but it is the actors too. And Kristen Bell is good, except for that ridiculous new movie she has, which we won't go into, the lady because we can't even say the title before the end of the show.
It's like an anime length.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. I think that was a good recap. That was a fair, and I think you covered everything.
What'd you think about Fred? What'd you think about Bill Maher's movie about religion? Did you see that one?
I don't think I did.
Religious or something?
Yeah, something like that. Oh, yeah. You might want to check that one out. I heard it's really good.
Yeah. What else you might want to check out The Tinder Swindler.
Tinder Swindler.
Dun, dun,
Modern
dun.
love of a dangerous game.
It
Drink.
is a very
Casey
dangerous.
Ryan Plott is about to embark on his very first review on Crossing the Streams. One all-time listener,
Virgin.
now one-time presenter. Let's do it.
Yes, long time, first time. Here we go. So, The Tinder Swindler, which you can find on Netflix, is a very terrifying story about why you need to teach your children to not try to find love online. So, there is a young man by the name of Simon Lviv who basically matches with a beautiful woman. He sweeps her off her feet saying, I'm this incredibly rich guy. And they go on these extravagant dates, spending huge amounts of money. And then all of a sudden he talks about he's posing as the son of a diamond empire, basically the Diamond King, who's Lviv is the last name. So as he's basically romancing, wining and dining these women over the course of, a month, he just randomly pop in, fly in, and spend some money on them and then fly back out. Well, then he started to claim that he was being attacked and he had to run and hide and all of his accounts are frozen. So suddenly he needs money. And this just basically exposes the entire series of what he goes through as he uses one woman to woo another woman to then get another woman. And it's a huge, massive Ponzi scheme that you learn about over the series of this 2-hour documentary. And it's from the perspective of each woman as it happened to them. So it actually interlocks the stories as it goes along. So the pacing is really good too. So they did a fantastic job telling this story and really rolling out what happened. But apparently this guy had been doing this for quite a few years. Down in Israel, he got nailed for it. Then he went up, and this was happening in Denmark, in Amsterdam, in Finland, in Germany. He was operating all over the place. So it was pretty awful along the way. And after he finally got caught, they set up a sting operation and nail this guy. Well, when they get him, he had defrauded for about $10 million is what they approximate from hitting several women just time after time, all through Tinder. All just hooking up through Tinder. Just that's it. They just meet up through Tinder.
I can't get a girl to buy me a cup of coffee on Tinder.
That's what I'm saying, man. I got nada.
Right. Guy's getting millions of dollars. Oh my God.
Seriously. Like, it's killing me. And I'm watching this going, man, this is a blueprint. Like, if I just want to quit and go this route.
Yeah, sounds like finally a how-to.
Yeah, because so they catch him and he goes to court and he gets 10 months and he's already out doing it again, just living this crazy extravagant lifestyle.
But is banned from Tinder.
Nope.
Yeah, I think he is, isn't he?
Is he? I don't know.
I think he's been banned from Tinder.
Well, that's funny because he's currently trying to break into Hollywood because this has become so huge. Like, imagine the cojones on this guy.
Jesus.
Just
wow.
Well, he's banned from all of them. The only ones left is Christian Mingle. He's going to have to do it on that one.
You got to admire his tenacity.
Skipped off Plenty of Fish. They kept right down the line.
Jeff,
so
Jeff has no idea what we're just naming all these dating sites. Jeff
is
happily married
quite a while, so yeah, this is all foreign.
They didn't even have the internet when he was single. So
we had the email.
Oh, yes, the AOL on the disc.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to learn Plenty of Fish. Have you ever heard of Plenty of Fish, Jeff?
Sure.
It's a real joke. I mean, it is not a fun site.
No.
Or Match.
Yeah, Jennifer says farmers only.
Yeah, farmers only.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
like how Jennifer interacts on your podcast more than she did on the one she was on with me.
The reviews for Casey Ryan Plott are just flying in.
Loving it. Thanks, everybody. Okay, Cupid was another good one from back in the day.
So you recommend this show?
I actually do. It was done really well. The story was fantastic. It's just really sad because it's a bummer because there is no justice and there won't be any justice. These women are in debt for 250,000, 140,000. You know,
Wow.
he would keep asking and they would keep giving him money. They would go get credit cards. They were opening new lines of credit. They were going to the bank to try to get immediate, one-day loans. It was awful.
And what was he saying was the scheme? What was he doing? A real estate?
So the whole
company?
thing is he would basically he would fly him around, show him all this stuff, but he's like, we're in the diamond business. So being in the diamond business, very dangerous. I have a lot of enemies. So they would, basically concoct this whole his bodyguard got attacked, saved his life kind of deal. And now they have to go run and hide to Amsterdam or Munich or some other place, Oslo. And what they're really doing is meeting up with another woman that he's wooing while this other woman is giving him the funds so he
Wow.
can continue just partying and going nuts and living lavishly. They're renting private jets. It's ridiculous the amount of money they're spending.
It's crazy. Wow.
I'm in the wrong business.
Seriously, man. Like if you're gonna get 10 months in prison,
That's right.
Yeah, for 10 months in prison, it's probably worth it. Man, those guys didn't lay down their head at night with peace in mind, that's for sure.
oh man, I can't imagine. It's got to be sociopaths, man. Just something broken in there.
Was it U.S. prison? Was it in the United States?
No, that was in Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had many aliases. He had a ton of different names, passports. He operated all over several different
Did
countries.
he operate in the United States ever, or was
Not that I saw. No, nothing that was reported on that.
Well, see, you just
That's
answered my
part
question.
two.
Yeah, United States women aren't going to give him any money.
Yeah. See, we got to go international. Sal.
Sounds like I can't get a dime.
I told you.
All right.
tell
Well,
you,
great
man,
job,
I think
Casey
I have
Ryan.
options in
Plott.
Norway. Thank you, sir.
Great
did
job.
good.
That was awesome.
Yeah, good job.
All right. Well, let's see what we got here. We got one more. We've talked about this show. This is Murderville. Get ready. Get ready to punch away. Get ready to punch a one-way ticket to Murderville. All right. So this show, let me just get off right off the bat. I love this show. It's an interesting premise. So it's based on a UK BBC show, as most things are. In the UK, it's called Murder in Successville. And it ran from 2015 to 2017, and there were 18 episodes. Same basic premise. And the basic premise is that there's a celebrity guest star each episode that isn't given a script and has to improvise their way through it, through the lead, while being led by the other actors that do know what's going on. So Will Arnett is of Arrested Development fame. Possibly one of the best Batman people. But in terms of live action, I would say this is Will Arnett's best role since Arrested Development. If you love Will Arnett, this is it. So the premise of the show is he's senior detective Terry Seattle, and he's a homicide detective, and he gets a new partner, and there's new murders every day for him to solve. So the cast is really funny, and then he's introduced to his celebrity partners, who are Conan O'Brien, Marshawn Lynch, Ken Jeong, Kumail Nanjiani, Annie Murphy, and Sharon Stone. And so there's only 6 episodes of Murderville.
How does Marshawn Lynch fit into all that?
He's amazing.
I don't know, but he's great. He's really great in it.
Wow.
It's interesting because each one of the guest stars, celebrity guest stars, who, when they come in, the whole premise of the show is right in the introduction. It explains how they don't have the script and they have to improvise their way through. So Will Arnett kind of guides them, or the other characters will guide them. But each one of them brought their own unique spin to it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Marshawn was actually really great. And, like Conan was Conan, Ken Jeong was great, and Annie Murphy was great. Sharon Stone was great, but in a completely different way than everyone else. And so it's the idea of it is there's a funny thread that runs through it where Will Arnett is haunted by the murder of his ex-partner, from 15 years earlier, which is just a flash on the screen, a picture of Jennifer Aniston. She's never in it. She's
Never.
never. It's just. Sorry for that spoiler, but she's never in it. It's just a photo, and this is his partner from 15 years ago that's been murdered. That's just eating him inside and ruining his life. And so the way it works is Will Arnett is introduced to his new partner, right? So let's say Annie Murphy. And so Annie Murphy is Annie Murphy in the show, right? They play themselves. And they are, trainees in the homicide. So Will Arnett, they go to the murder scene. And then there you have Lillian Bowden. Lillian Bowden.
Drink.
Lillian Bowden,
Drink.
who plays Amber Kane, the forensics expert. She explains the murder, and she says these were the things. Like I'm just making this up. This was a quarter, and this was left by the murderer, and this was a note left by the murderer. And so there's like a few clues that they do, and then one way or another they figure out there's 3 suspects, right? And so they go to each one of the suspects. And it's up to the celebrity Annie Murphy in my example to ask them questions and to observe the surroundings of the scene to piece together the clues that they know with what they're learning or what they can visually see in the scene. And then they do that 3 times. And then at the end, Will Arnett basically turns to the guest and goes, "Who's the murderer?" And then they say, well, it was Fred Carroll, and this is why. Then the police detective, who's awesome, comes out and she says, Annie Murphy, you're 100% right. Or she'll go, you're 100% wrong. And then she'll explain why she was wrong with the clues. So I gotta say, some of them you're watching and you're like, oh, it's clearly that person. And then towards the end, I was like, I don't know.
Mhm.
There was some where like the subtlety of how when they recap it and they show you're like, oh, of course, right? But they get depending on who it was, that's part of the fun of the show.
What
There's
network?
a lot of nuance.
It's on Netflix.
Because I haven't seen this. I'm not sure if I want to. It's got the way you're describing. I can't tell if is it sketch comedy?
It's not sketch comedy. That's a great question, Fred. It's it'd be like kind of like if you had a murder mystery, I think, at your house, except really professionally shot with professional actors.
Yeah, game
And,
show
like,
improv.
Will Arnett is brilliant in bringing them through. And there's usually a scene, this doesn't really give anything away, but usually with one of the suspects, he goes, I can't go in there with you, Annie. Put this in your ear. And just repeat whatever I tell you. And it's so funny. It is so funny.
Do they break? Do the characters break at all? Like, especially the guests?
I don't know how much this was one shot and then they reshot.
Right.
They break a little bit, but not like full. There's no full break.
But I would always be Fred Carroll on it, and you'd be Jeff Dwoskin, and
Will Arnett is a character, Detective Terry Seattle.
No, but I mean me as the guest.
Yeah, as the guest, you're
their
Fred
real
Carroll.
name,
unless you're undercover or something. Yeah, but
I got to check it out.
Yeah,
it's really fun. It really is. I mean, there's for every moment that maybe doesn't hit, there's another moment in the show that's just off the charts hilarious.
Does it have longevity though? Does it have longevity? It sounds like something that could.
I think if they did like 6 episodes every so often, you can deal with it. 6 25-minute episodes. It's easy to digest. I think if the concept was an hour, no.
No, it'd be too much.
It's a perfect like 25-minute, half-hour show.
Yeah, they keep it tight. And I love the way he messes with Conan, because Conan is so strong in his improv game. So he just forces the yes and it creates quite a hilarious moment eating spaghetti.
Okay, I got to watch this.
Yeah, I'm going to see it. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, no, you should definitely watch it. Let's see, Jerry watched it. Oh, Marshawn Lynch was great on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I need to watch that. Half scripted, half improv. Yep.
Huh.
And that's over now too, right? Isn't Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine ended. I think that show got tough to do that show with how the police were in the media and all.
Well, didn't it move networks? Didn't it go from
It did, but
NBC
it
to
successfully
Fox?
jumped. I mean, it went a couple seasons after. I think it ended when it should have ended. That show. I mean, it was on for like a long time.
Yeah, it's still got what 9 seasons.
Yeah,
It's
9
pretty strong.
seasons. It was a solid show. That
Yeah.
show is really funny.
Yeah.
And
Really
it survived
good.
like 2 years too, where it skipped a year, especially
Yeah.
with all the police stuff going on. They just kind of went, we're gonna film this another time.
Plus with COVID and all that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I highly recommend Murderville. It's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. It's just a really good show to watch.
Good.
Ba-ba-bum. That's
I'm gonna
it.
watch it.
That's the
That's
one.
it. Devin, well, let's see who's in the comments. Devin,
It's
what's up?
me.
Casey and Fred. Jeffy, a little short. Some people today. Yeah, we had 2 people who couldn't make it last minute, so here we are. But it's all good.
I came in late.
Yeah. Fred wants the how-to video. I like Fred's backdrop. It's really nice. So, all right. Well, there's no shame in ending early. There's nothing.
There's no shame.
So we would have had
Shame in
one.
it.
We would have had one more show
Pissing
for
off
you.
our
but
advertisers, man. We're pissing
Right.
off all our
We're
advertisers.
pissing off everybody. But there's Casey. Thank you for joining us. Finally, hopefully we'll have you back again.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for
Remind
having
everyone
me.
where they can keep up with you.
Well, you can find us over on YouTube at the Scene Snobs channel, or you can check us out at thescenesnobs.com, and you can find us on all your major podcast stations. And you should listen because sometimes it's funny.
And can we give Casey a little plug? And can you give me your best voice of somebody else? Just your best. Who is your best?
Casey's
know.
well, let me prep. If you go to my episode 50 or episode 100, I mean, I think Casey's done other ones too, but like those 2 are huge. Casey does an entire party scene of different voices. I would say that the 100th one is the most recent one, and I think was a step up from the 50th because it was much more. We put a little more time into the script and
It
stuff.
was real nice. It was great working with you and really be able to spend that time with you. And I appreciate that, man. It's a really good time, Jeff. Thank you so much for letting me do that with you.
That's really good. Not everyone
Yes,
can do
All
it.
right.
Hey.
Oh, that was Matt. Oh, I thought that was.
Yeah, it sounded
I
just
thought
like
that was John Travolta.
Sandy.
Do Christopher Walken. That's my favorite.
He's pretty good guy. The show y'all do here is a lot of fun. The way you cross your streams, exciting for everybody. They get to hear about new shows.
Can you
on
introduce
Netflix and your Amazons, wherever you stream? May you
Hey.
stream your dream.
Can you introduce the Foo Fighters like he did on Saturday Night Live?
Oh,
You
I didn't
remember?
see. No,
He
I don't
goes-
remember how he did that.
Dave Grohl always talks about it was the most exciting thing of his life when Christopher Walken
Foo
said,
Fighters. I think
Ladies
it
and
is, the
gentlemen,
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters,
Foo
Foo
Fighters.
Fighters.
They need more cowbell. I gotta have it.
I love it, Casey. Love it.
That's so funny.
Hope
Thank
you
you,
guys
Casey.
appreciate it.
Fred, remind
Well,
everyone where they
thank
can
you.
keep up with you.
You could find me at Apostrophes with Double D, which is my new podcast, which just look for this right there. Apostrophes, a writer series with Double D. You could also find me Ending the Stigma, which is my mental health and addiction recovery podcast. And that's it. That's the only place you can find me. You can go to venomstudios.com, venomstudios.com.
Nice.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Sal, say goodnight.
Good night, everybody. Good to work with Casey and Fred and SalDemilio.com. The Sal and Bob Show with Bob Phillips, the other part of the show that was not here. And catch me at a comedy club.
Yeah. Sal and Bob podcast. They eat a lot of steak. And live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show. Jeff Dwoskin. I will be live with Tammy Pescatelli at the Magic Bag
Nice.
Theater March 11th. One show only. So get your tickets. Check out the podcast. Again, if you are in the Detroit area or know a Detroit city, vote for my podcast, please, at Our Detroit. I would really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's about it, guys. We'll see you next week and every week.
Good
as we
night.
cross more streams. And that has been another episode of Crossing the Streams. Join us every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow The Jeff Dwoskin Show on YouTube to be alerted every time we go live with your hosts, Jeff Dwoskin, Ron Lippett, Howard Rosner, Bob Phillips, Sal D'Amelio. We're all in the socials. Follow us. Listen to our podcasts live from Detroit, The Jeff Dwoskin Show, The Sal and Bob Show. Check them all out, and we'll see you next week and every week when we cross more streams right here. See you then.